السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا
إن الحمد لله تعالى نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن سيدنا ونبينا وحبيبنا وقرة أعيننا محمد عبده ورسوله وصفيه ومختاره من خلقه وخليله بلغ الرسالة وأدى الأمانة ونصح الأمة وكشف الله به الغمة وتركها على المحجة البيضاء ليلها كنهارها لا يزيغ عنها إلا هالك فاللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا ونبينا وحبيبنا محمد. يقول رب العزة والجلال يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. All gratitude belongs to Allah. We thank Him, we seek His help, we seek His forgiveness. Whoever Allah guides, none can lead astray. Whoever is led astray due to their own intentions, none can guide but Allah. I testify that there is none worthy of worship but Allah, and that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is His last and His final messenger. Many centuries ago, the very first mistake, the very first crime, the very first sin that was wrought on this earth, a grave sin, the sin of murder, a sin that happened between two siblings, a disagreement, the spark of jealousy and envy and hatred. It is the story of the two sons of the Prophet Adam alayhi salam. Allah tells us about the story in the Quran. وَاتْلُ عَلَيْهِمْ نَبَأَ بَنَيْ آدَمَ بِالْحَقِّ إِذْ قَرَّبَا قُرْبَانًا. The Prophet Adam alayhi salam has two sons, Habil and Qabil. Each of them put forward a sacrifice to Allah Azza wa Jal. فَتُقُبِّلَ مِنْ أَحَدِهِمَا وَلَمْ يُتَقَبَّلْ مِنَ الْآخَرِ. So Allah accepts the sacrifice of one of them and doesn't accept the sacrifice of the other. And it is said, according to some narrations, some Israelite narrations, that if your sacrifice is accepted, the sacrifice, the animal that was sacrificed, will become ablaze with fire. And so Habil's sacrifice becomes ablaze with fire, and Qabil's is not accepted by Allah Azza wa Jalla. What happens in that moment? The Quran doesn't talk about it, but human deduction will tell you that the most dangerous feeling between two individuals is the feeling of jealousy, the feeling of anger, the feeling of hatred. Because the anger, the jealousy, the enmity between two Bani Adam, two sons of Adam, it's a spark. And when you throw a spark into a forest full of trees, the whole forest can go on fire. A spark becomes a flame becomes a fire, and very soon the whole building is burning. The spark of hatred between two brothers, the jealousy between two brothers, ended up boiling over to a point one brother said to the other, قَالَ لَأَقْتُلَنَّكَ, I'm going to kill you. قَالَ إِنَّمَا يَتَقَبَّلُ اللَّهُ مِنَ الْمُتَّقِينَ. So helplessly the other brother says, Allah only accepts from those who have the right intentions. Don't blame me. Don't blame me for your hatred and jealousy. I didn't decide. Allah gave me this gift. But hatred is blind. Anger is blind. لَإِن بَسَطْتَ إِلَيَّ يَدَكَ لِتَقْتُلَنِي مَا أَنَا بِبَاسِطٍ يَدِيَ إِلَيْكَ لِأَقْتُلَكَ إِنِّي أَخَافُ اللَّهَ رَبَّ الْعَالَمِينَ. If you stretch out your hand to attack me, I'm not going to do the same back to you. I am afraid of the consequences with my master, Lord of the worlds. فطوعت له نفسه قتل أخيه فقتله. What was the secret behind the first murder on the face of this earth? It is the nafs, the human ego, the one that feels anger, rage, jealousy, these small emotions which then muster up into a flame of murder. And he killed his brother. فَأَصْبَحَ مِنَ النَّادِمِينَ. Eventually, later on, he begins to regret. Allah sends a little bird who buries a dead bird, and he realizes he has to bury his brother. And a man who has to dig a hole in the ground and carry the lifeless limb body of his own brother and lay him into the earth and put sand on his face and his eyes. In that moment he realizes, and from that moment till today, the greatest source of shaitan destroying us and our relationship with Allah is not in our salah. You see, the devil is very intelligent. The Prophet ﷺ said, إِنَّ الشَّيْطَانَ قَدْ أَيِّسَ أَنْ يَعْبُدَهُ الْمُصَلُّونَ فِي جَزِيرَةِ الْعَرَبِ وَلَكِنْ فِي التَّحْرِيشِ بَيْنَهُم. Shaitan is too smart. He knows you're not going to worship the devil. He has a better way to create corruption on the earth. Enmity between the children of Adam. We are coming to the month of Ramadan, the month of the Quran. And yet everybody sitting here, myself included, we are carrying a big burden on our shoulder. We are carrying the burden of enmity to some other son of Adam. Somebody we're not talking to. Somebody we had an argument with. Somebody we've broken relationship with. A relative we are harboring a negative feeling towards. The Prophet ﷺ informs us, في حديث رواه الطبراني وابن ماجه في حديث صحيح صححه الألباني والأئمة رحمهم الله أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال إن الله لا ينزل في ليلة النصف من شعبان فيطلع إلى خلقه فيغفر لجميع الخلق إلا لمشرك أو مشاحن. The Prophet ﷺ informed us in a hadith that was collected by Ibn Majah and At-Tabarani and classed as authentic by many scholars, that Allah descends in the 15th night of Sha'ban and He forgives everyone in His creation except two. A mushrik, somebody making equals to Allah, inshallah none of you are from them. But the second category, many of us are from them. Mushahin. He will not forgive somebody who has beef, who has an issue, enmity, hatred for another Muslim. You have 24 hours to clean your system of this hatred. One day, the Prophet ﷺ in hadith in Musnad Ahmad, that a man was about to enter the masjid and the Prophet said, the person who's going to enter is from the people of Jannah. 3 times he said it. This person entered, no one knows his name. Who is this guy? Nothing special about him. So one of the Sahaba followed him home and said, can I stay with you? And he stayed with him. And after a few days, he said, there's nothing special. How is this man promised Jannah? No qiyamul layl, no fasting. What's going on? So he asked him, what is it that allowed you to be of those promised paradise? The man said, maybe one thing. When I'm about to sleep, I make sure I have no grudge in my heart for another believer. I forgive everybody and I go to sleep. He said, that's what it is. You see, many of us, we associate the preparation of Ramadan with fasting and ibadah. But Allah created huququl ibad, the rights of His creation. Anybody who has enmity with another slave of Allah, hatred for another slave of Allah, jealousy for another slave of Allah, you're not talking broken relationship with another slave of Allah, you have 24 hours to fix it before Allah descends in the last third of the night, and He will give forgiveness to every son of Adam who believes in Him, except the one who has an ongoing issue with another son of Adam. قولوا قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم فيا فوز المستغفرين. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وعلى من استنى بسنته واهتدى بهديه وسار على نهجه إلى يوم الدين. إن الله قد أنزل في كتابه في محكم التنزيل لما قال واتل عليهم نبأ بني آدم بالحق إذ قربا قربانا فتقبل من أحدهما ولم يتقبل من الآخر قال لأقتلنك. إن هذه القصة تعطينا من العبر ومن الدروس ما لا نهاية لها. فسرعان ما يتسرع العبد إلى القتل ببذرة الحسد وببذرة البغض وببذرة العداوة، فإن هذه من أمراض القلوب القاتلة التي قد فرق بين العباد. فإن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قد صرح بخطورة التفرق والشحناء والعداوة بين خلق الله، إذ قال إن الشيطان قد أيس أن يعبده المصلون في جزيرة العرب ولكن في التحريش بينهم. كم منا من يشتكي بعلاقة منكسرة، برحم قد قطع، بوالد لم يتكلم معه، بقريب أو صديق قطعت العلاقة بينهما. ها هنا فرصة للإصلاح، لأن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال إن الله لا ينزل في ليلة النصف من شعبان فيغفر لجميع خلقه إلا لمشرك أو مشاحن، والشحناء العداوة بين خلق الله. وإن من جميل أبواب الجنة من يدخل الجنة ولم يكن من الصوامين ولا من القوامين، ولكن كان ممن عنده قلب نظيف. فإن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قد قال إن الله يحب العبد التقي الخفي النقي. قالوا نعرف التقي ونعرف الخفي يا رسول الله، فمن هو النقي؟ فقال عليه الصلاة والسلام النقي لا إثم فيه ولا بغي ولا حسد. سهل أن يقال هذا على المنابر وصعب أن يطبق بين العباد. فيا ليتنا يوم تبرز الأعمال عند الله فتكون الصالحات كالجبال، ولكن نكون من المفلسين، لا لصلاة فاتتنا ولا لصوم فاتنا، ولكن لحقوق عباد الله لم نستطع أن نقوم بها. فمن منا لا يذكر مرأة قوامة صوامة ماتت في عهد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم، فلما سئل عنها قال هي في النار كانت تؤذي جارها بلسانها. ما خطورة أمر العباد. نسأل الله أن يصلح بيننا وأن ييسر لنا وأن يغفر لنا خطايانا وإسرافنا في أمرنا. اللهم اغفر لنا ذنوبنا كلها دقها وجلها صغيرها وكبيرها، ما علمنا منها وما لم نعلم منها. اللهم أصلح ذات بيننا، اللهم أصلح ذات بيننا، اللهم ألف بين قلوبنا، اللهم ارحمنا بالقرآن واجعله لنا واجعله جلاء همومنا وأحزاننا. اللهم بارك لنا بالقرآن، اللهم بلغنا رمضان. وصل اللهم وسلم وبارك على نبي الرحمة صلوات الله وسلامه عليه. وقوموا إلى صلاتكم يرحمكم الله.